Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to our life. Let's just get right into it, shall we? We've been doing a whole heck of a lot of different things, but now we're going to be doing late shifts. After lunch, you ran into Baxter. He was more than happy for an impromptu hangout in your neighborhood. He idly spoke about the first time he bought a shirt online. Apparently the website hadn't been in English, so he had to make do with an automatic online translations. His unique fashion sense was electric in more ways than one. Finding out how he filled his wardrobe answered some of your questions about his look. Excuse me. He smiled in fond remembrance. I measured myself multiple times to make sure I could order the correct size. It wasn't as if I would be able to ship back if there was problems. But to make a long story short, it arrived in one piece multiple months later. At that point, I wasn't going to complain. It was a physical object in my hands. He gestured with his arms for emphasis. As he did, Baxter glanced at his wrist, at a watch that wasn't there. Anyways, I hope I'm not taking too much of your time with this. You had a few chores to do, but you were generally free. You weren't worried about it and shook your head. Baxter eased back and returned to chatting. The two of you meandered around the neighborhood, aimlessly walking as you talked. I saw Cove earlier. He was on his way to work, from what I gathered in a brief chat, and from how he was dressed. Yeah, he's working at the old library as an assistant. It fits him. He's lucky he found such a nice gig in town. Cove likes having his mornings and early afternoons free, so he takes the later shifts. Since you are free, perhaps we can do better than standing here. I'll be delighted to invite you over to my condo to chat more comfortably. Baxter's condos. You lived on the street your entire life but never actually been inside. You were curious about it. Thought you'd never ask. But I'll need to leave before this evening. I have plans to visit Cove at his work too. Of course, I wouldn't presume to keep you. He made a grand sweeping gesture directed at his place and led the short walk over. You followed beside him, stopping when you reached his front door. He opened it for you and welcomed you inside. It was a familiar threshold from your childhood. You couldn't help having a slight shiver up your spine as you thought of this condo's previous residence. Actually it doesn't look that bad. Looks very nice. You took a quick breath as you cautiously stepped and sat into the condo. The first thing you noticed was just how unexpectedly nice and sleek it was. It was also clean and smelled feeling like some sort of unidentified air freshener. You had to wonder how much of this was due to whoever rented it out, the former resident or the current one. Regardless of the pleasant presentation, you were on edge. You couldn't help but stay on guard, as if not grandparents might jump out to yell at you at any moment. Baxter noticed something of your discomfort and raised an eyebrow. Is everything alright? I've never seen inside of this condo.
Really?
Oh, really? You seemed genuinely surprised. The former neighbors never had you over for tea? Sounds out of character for the street. You laughed at the thought of the prior visitors willingly being in the same space as you. Definitely not. This was the mean old people's house. They weren't exactly nice to kids. They'd be appalled to know I was in here. But wow, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm actually inside. My apologies. Baxter's smile was curled as he ushered you the rest of the way inside and closed his door. I would like to hear more about this. Sounds like there's a story here. He sat on his sofa, first sitting properly before readjusting his position to a comfortably forward crouch. He waved his hand toward his furniture, an invitation to take a seat yourself. You took a seat on the nearby chair. It was more comfortable than it looked. So, you want to hear about the mean not grandparents?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. My ears are open. You began to give him a rundown of your past neighbors, explaining how they didn't like children and had a reputation among you and the other kids for being nasty. I wish I had more exciting stories. Honestly, I think the most memorable thing was when I almost ding-dong ditched them. My sister Lizzie wanted me to do it, but I didn't. But neither did she, so it's fair. Baxter chuckled at your non-prank story. Sounds like you. The two of you continued to chat until the sun started hanging lower in the sky. It couldn't be far. It could be seen falling through his large windows. You stood up when it was time to go, and Baxter led you to the door. I think I'm actually going to go on an outing to town myself. It's a good night for exploring. You nodded as you stepped outside. Thanks for having me over. Goodbye, Luna. You parted in good spirits and walked off. You entered your house and got yourself ready to visit Cove. You were definitely looking forward to seeing him. Lately, Cove had been working more often. You rarely saw him during his shifts for obvious reasons. He was busy. That's why it had to be a surprise when Cove asked you to swing by. Maybe Cove was also thinking about how much of his job had impacted how often you saw each other. Luckily, his place of employment was within walking distance. You wouldn't have to worry about getting a ride. The air felt heated around you, but with enough of a breeze to cool you off. You strolled past familiar buildings, not even having to think about how to get to Cove's job. You had gone down these streets more than enough times to memorize the way. It was easy to just enjoy the brief trip. Soon enough, you reached the local library parking lot. You headed right inside. Immediately after opening the door, you smelt the warm, solid smell of books. A bit stuffy, but it was a nostalgic feeling. Your eyes scanned the front room for a tall, green-haired assistant. He looks exhausted. You spotted him easily at a desk. He didn't seem too busy. No one else was there around. You stepped closer. Instinctively, he instinctively looked up from his stack of papers at the sound of someone approaching. Cove met your eyes with a welcome smile when he realized who it was.
Thanks.
Hi, Luna. Thanks for coming. Of course. How's it going? Making good money? Cove laughed quietly, his eyes alight with a past amusement. You should have seen it. When I got here earlier, there was a huge fight going on with the schedule. I just tried to stay out of it. I'm lucky no one else wants to close. It's not something I gotta defend. Some shifts are way too competitive. He shook his head at the memory. He wondered how the shifts had been sorted out in the end. He didn't bother to elaborate further on his workplace drama. Anyways, yeah, it's fine. It's the most exciting today, gods. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with all that. It sounds stressful. In that case, you do not want to know what Emmy did to get tomorrow's morning shift. I'm pretty sure there was blackmail involved. He scratched the back of his neck as he stared into the middle distance. He had seen things. Cove's eyes grew wide and then drifted off. His mind was clearly elsewhere. Speaking of work, I gotta get back to it. That's what I'm doing right now. He left how easily your presence made him forget about the situation at hand. Take a seat or wander around a little. Try not to disappear, though. I won't be too long. I have a couple things to take care of. He gave a significant look at the papers he had been sorting through before he had noticed you. No problem. I can be alone for a few minutes. Let's see. Quiet, book, young adult section. Fiction, mystery. Honestly, I'm torn between the young adult mystery novels, but I'll go to the young adults. There are many fantasy novels mixed in with the contemporary fiction. Some, while you were browsing, you would run into an old attire that you had once seen in the children's section when you were little. Conversely, some books that sound more adults than others. He looks good dressed up, to be honest. As promised, Cove swung by again. He stood up straight, the task that had been at hand completed. Since you had a moment together, you struck up a new conversation. You teasingly flirt with him. Hey, Cove. You know, I gotta go with the cheesiest option. I might not need any books, but I do want to check you out. Cove turned bright red, his mouth opening in a small O.
Seriously?
You're gonna say that now? There's not a better time than that lineup would work. Well, you said it. Yeah, I did. And you can be done. Alright. Oh, actually, you suddenly reminded of your afternoon adventure at Baxter's place. Remember the mean knock grandparents? I saw inside their home.
What?
Really? He looked amazed, like he was just barely containing himself from peppering you with questions. Suddenly, a thought hit him like a brick. Wait. He settled down immediately. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. The new person staying there is really welcoming. You overheard someone sounding frustrating as they couldn't find a specific book. Cove turned his head toward them without a pause, his customer service smile already on his face. He gave a quick nod and then headed over, disappearing into the labyrinth of shelves. It was a shame their conversation was so brief, but what else could you expect when he was on the clock? Seeing Cove acting so mature was different. He was like a real adult and giving service with a grin, at least when he remembered he was supposed to be working. You're proud of him. It was nice to see him growing up. He had changed a lot over the years, and you were happy to see how much he matured. You decided to walk around the shelves a little and explore. Every so often you'd see Cove. He would be reshelving books or helping people find what they needed. He was good at it, always calm and quiet for the library. He took small moments to talk with you every so often or smile in your direction. Eventually, it seemed like it was time for some kind of book club. That library lobby flooded with people, all clutching their copies of what he guessed was a satirical fantasy book. Cove got busier himself, pulling out chairs and arranging the area. He made the call that it was time to head out since he would have to be occupied for a while after all that. He glanced over at you after he nudged a fake plant over to make room for another chair. You waved at him near the front of the entrance. He frowned, but then switched back to a smile. He gave a quick wave before turning back to the book club event. He grinned. You felt buoyed to see Cove for a little bit. Wordlessly, you ambled back outside into the parking lot. The evening sun was warm on your skin while you were taking the trip back home. You felt your phone buzz and stopped on the sidewalk. Then you pulled out to check. It was from Mom. Would you mind stopping by the grocery store on your way home to pick up some asparagus and peppers for dinner tomorrow? Can't make it myself. Deadlines are tight right now. Thank you and have a great day. You sighed. While the request could have been worse, it's just still another thing piled on your plate. Your limbs instantly felt heavy and lethargic. After taking a couple deep breaths, you sent in a simple response. Okay. You weren't expecting her to text back anytime soon, though. You did already get thanks for it. Your phone remained grasped in your hand, and you grew lost in your thoughts. Everyone was busy working nowadays. The only other person who wasn't was Liz, and you had no idea how long before that changed. You were terrified that one day it would be up to you to support yourself. The inevitability sat on your chest like a crushing weight. You weren't sure how even to overcome it. The rest of your life was waiting ahead of you. Before you knew what, you could imagine you'll likely end up trying several jobs, but before any of that could happen, you needed to take that first step. You sighed. It always felt too big, though. You wondered if it was like that for everyone. You were still inside your own head when another message came through. Looking at your phone, you saw that it was from Cove this time. Can we hang out again? After I close out work this time, I could come to your house or something. Text back why? Curiously, you raised an eyebrow and watched your phone screen. Cove's next message arrived in seconds. Because I want to talk, please. Your mouth curled into a playful grin. Alright, I'll have to run an errand in town still anyways. I'll meet you there when we're done. Cool. I'll be here, obviously. See you later. Smiley face. You finally put your phone away. You realized that you might not be enough time to get to the store and back before Cove was off. You need to return to the library first. But what was done was done. To fill the little gap of space in between your new plans, you decided... As much as sneak some more text while he's working could be fun, I think browsing other places close by. Your feet took you down to where there's several of the touristy shops were located. It had been a while since you last poked your nose around what they were selling. As you approached the library building, you noticed a figure out front. It was Cove. His silhouette was instantly recognizable to you, even in the dim light of the parking lot. You could see he was smiling eagerly as he got closer. You'd been waiting for this. You ran up to hug him. You bounded through the final steps to reach Cove and took him in your arms. He wasn't fazed, simply wrapping you in an embrace of his own. We meet again. Hey, Luna. His initial excitement at your arrival deflated quickly. Cove stopped being able to meet your eyes when you spoke more.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for earlier when you were visiting. It wasn't very exciting, was it? I hope I wasn't wasting your time. Cove, it's never a waste to see you. Oh. His smile re-emerged, though only slightly, as he continued his thoughts. It's just that with all the shifts I've been doing lately, I wanted to have you around some more. That's really all. It was just to make my day better. But it's not like working has to be a good time. There's better things you could be doing than watching me do stuff at a distance. What a precious man you are. I'm flattered. Luna. Cove dramatically scrunched up his face at his embarrassment praise of him. You did the best to hide your prior unhappiness and gave Cove a smile. It didn't pass by Cove, unfortunately.
Are you okay?
You alright? Fine. You shot back sternly. No, you're not. It's not anything you did to me. I get what you're trying to do. Then what is it, actually? Your shoulders slumped. He clearly wasn't going to let it go. I've been thinking about how I don't have a way to support myself. Oh, yeah. When he began to speak once more, his words got crushingly soft, almost as a whisper. Hello, this is really hard. I don't know what to do to make it okay. Nobody can make that never be a problem again, not even you. He managed a meek smile. I could still try. We'll both try, and hopefully you'll make it work. Or not even hopefully, we just will. We only don't know how yet. His attempt at encouragement was nice, even if you weren't sure how confident you were still. Thanks, Cove.
You're welcome.
Cove reached out for you, and you leaned into it. He gently held you against him as you relaxed against his body. It was comforting. What was that errand you talked about before? Are you still doing that? Yeah. You should come with me. It was late, and he knew that Cove wanted to go home, but admittedly he wanted company. He eased that concern by sighing softly. Sure, yeah, I can go shopping with you. You walked, right? Mm-hmm. Want me to drive you? Yeah, that would make things a lot easier. No problem. It's nice of you to do this.
Not really.
Not really, I like spending the time with you. Thanks. I like that too. Moments later, Cove had his things together and you were both ready to swing by the store. Cove pulled into one of the many free parking spaces at the neighborhood 24-hour grocery store. Car doors were popped open and you got out at the same time. There was a salty smell in the air as the two of you strolled through the dim parking lot. The local burger joint on the other side of the pavement guaranteed the place always smelled like fries. Your eyes squinted at the change of lighting when you made it inside the building. The automatic door shut behind you. With you truly having arrived, Cove raised his brow curiously.
So,
what are we here for again? Asparagus and peppers. It's for something my mom's making tomorrow. Sounds good, it'll be a short trip. Uh-huh. You idly scanned the front room for a basket you could use. A full cart wasn't necessary. You felt responsible having your parents rely on you. It was a recent change that you wanted to fully embrace. You spotted the baskets and caught a glimpse of Cove's full appearance while looking down to pick one up. It's kind of weird to see you dressed in a uniform in a different store. Cove snickered while sliding up beside you.
Right?
Right, it's like I'm wearing a costume after Halloween is over. But, no, I just hope no one thinks I work here. This uniform is totally different, but you never know. Basket in hand, you ambled toward the vegetable section. It was set near the back, but visible right at the entrance. Cove matched your pace, keeping you at your side. Asparagus was simple enough to select. You simply picked a bundle that looked fresh. All that was left was the peppers. There was a wrinkle in the plan. What color did they want? She didn't say. Then what are we going to do? The color definitely matters. I'll text my mom really quick to ask. He nodded, satisfied with your solution. Tried to fish out your phone while balancing the basket. Cove held out a hand to try and take it. You accepted the help. With both hands free, you were able to type out a brief message to ask what pepper colors. Then you stared, waiting at the screen. Cove hovered nearby to peek over your shoulder. The reply icon appeared, and you felt Cove leaning even closer. Just the regular green ones is what you sent back. Alright, that's easy. And he is right. You picked up the requested green peppers, tossing a few into the basket. Produce acquired, and all that was left was to go through the line. But as he approached the cash register, Cove stopped in his tracks. Oh, while we're here, I was gonna get something too. I need fruit for breakfast tomorrow. But what should I have? You glanced back unsurely at the selection you just left. I can go back to look with you. That coaxed a small smile from Cove, his tension eased.
Sorry.
Thanks, Luna. I'm sorry. It's fine. We can take a little more time to do this. Cove gratefully led you back to the fruit stands. He let his eyes wander all across the options, seriously considering his decision. Not bothering to rush, you walked up and down the produce aisle for the second time that trip. Finally, something caught his attention. Transparent cases containing fresh blueberries. Cove grinned. Oh, I love fresh blueberries. Like, obviously there's two major types of blueberries. The smaller, bitter ones, and the larger, kind of like squishier, sweeter ones. I'm always a sucker for a sweeter blueberry, because they're just so tasty. Also, sucker for raspberries. Those are like two of my biggest berries that I really like. But that's it. Perfect for tomorrow. Great. Despite the suddenness of how it happened, you're generally glad Cove was able to get something nice for himself during the trip to the store. It made the trip even more worthwhile. That's definitely very nice. Cove carried his food by himself, and the two of you went back to get a spot in line. After that, you completed separate orders for your getting. The produce was packed away into proper bags, and there was one for you and one for Cove. You both had what you needed in hand. The errand was finished. You walked across the length of the store to reach your doors closest to where you had parked. You and Cove stepped back into the night. Cove lightly swung his bag back and forth in his grip, and you peered, squinting into the dark parking lots. He smiled slightly, a gentle expression on his lips. Thanks for inviting me to the grocery store. Thanks for keeping me company. You're welcome. We should do this again. After a moment of walking further into the parking lot, he sighed mildly. As nice as Cove was about this, he had to be tired after working a full shift. It's been a long day. Yeah. That was the very brief exchange. Really summed it up. Cove shook his head to himself, bemused, replacing his worn-down expression. When did a busy day go from having way too many ways we wanted to play or having some extra homework to having to spend all day at a job and then running errands after? When we became grown-ups? This is a true adult experience, working, buying food, and squeezing in human interaction when you're doing other productive stuff? Well, I guess kid me did always think people spent their lives at their jobs, so I was right all along. He laughed, and you had to agree. Cove's eyes narrowed at his mouth opened slightly. He was having a thought.
I think?
Your mom's need this stuff for tomorrow, not tonight, right? Uh-huh. And nothing's frozen, so you don't need to get it home urgently or anything. Would you want to go across the parking lot to that fast food place? We could get something. You know, it's still open. Doesn't matter how late it is. It might be nice. We perked up at the suggestion. It sounded like fun. He started to be walking toward it. Cove had to jog you after you until he caught up. He chuckled and raised his bag of groceries. Maybe we should deal with these first? Oh, right. Let's drop the groceries off first, then we can go. You agreed, and Cove showed over to the cars, bored at the first thought of something to look forward to. He placed his bag at the back of the car and then let you store yours inside as well. With the groceries taken care of, it was a short walk to the burger joint. There were 3 cars lined up in the drive-thru, which wasn't too bad. You had to go all the way around the building to get into the front of the entrance, but soon you were under another set of bright fluorescent lights. Luckily, there was no line inside the building, so you stepped right up to the counter. You glanced over the menu. You remembered eating here before with Cove, back when Kira had taken you both years ago. The menu looks pretty much the same from what you could remember. It was missing the mozzarella sticks, but most of the other items were familiar. Hello, what would you like to order? Yes, hello. I would like to have one of everything of your dessert menu. You gave him an "Are you serious?" look. You pressed your hand against the back of his head with and a polite smile for the employee vent. Why rub it off of me? You were reminiscing on that visit to you. After the cashier made sure Cove was being serious, it was your time to order. You got chicken sandwich, some French fries, milkshake, and chocolate chip cookie. Like, that would probably be like my normal thing. Well, maybe not with the cookie, but like, part of me also wants the Sunday and apple pie. But yeah, I'll be realistic, and that was all. Cove gave you a little thumbs up. He wasn't the only one indulging. Wrapped up the ordering process, paid, got the number 264, then claimed a table. You sat down across from Cove in a booth where you both had a good view of the front counter. It was nice to have the pick of the place. I'm not too worried you're gonna finish all of that. You eat too much. You joked with a smile on your face. Yeah, well, I can't not do it now. I have a reputation. He tilted his chin, taking it as a light challenge. Yeah, don't challenge Cove, because you know what he's gonna do. He's just gonna do it all the same. He tilted his chin, taking it as a light challenge. Then you took out your phone to text your moms about your delay home. You didn't want them to worry. Cove watched you before pulling out his phone as well, maybe for the same reason you did. When the updates were sent, it was back to being just you and your neighbor once more. He offered you a small smile. I miss you, you know? Even if you weren't ever really gone, it's been less time than I'm accustomed to. Cove tapped his fist on the table definitely. He paired the action with a childless pout. If someone saw him like that, they might have assumed he was throwing a fit over not getting the toy that comes with the kids' meal. You were so spoiled. And how did that happen? He beamed at you sincerely, a ray of sunshine on this late-night food trip. When the numbers were called, Cove hopped up from his seat before you could react.
Don't worry about it.
I got it. Save our spot. I'm hoping you get that. Alright, I guess we probably don't have to worry about someone taking our seats. You threw a glance across the empty restaurant with a smirk. You snickered as you both walked over to the counter together. There are 2 trays sitting over the counter. Cove grabbed the one that was mostly his dessert items, leaving space for you to reach out for the other. Cove picked up the drinks and passed you them. Then he grabbed the tray with food. This way we don't accidentally spill. Right. We agreed to Chloe's plan in working together to bring back the food. Once you returned, he had everything situated and placed on the table. The 2 of you returned to your seats. Aww, that's adorable. He looks so happy. The shaw's kind of at a little bit of an awkward angle, but like still cute. Cove didn't hesitate before digging in. Took a large bite of his cookie and immediately sipped his milkshake. He looks really good. The artist for this game did such a good job. He then took a spoon and sampled a sundae with an approving hum. He made an attempt to follow that bite with an apple pie as well, but bailed with a distressed look on his face. You tilted your head in a silent question. Like, part of me is like, obviously this is just the thing, but just the art, like the artist style of this is just so good. He switched back to the milkshake and taking a dedicated slurp. Cove sighed at the cool relief it brought. You're so sorry to taste yours. It really wasn't bad. In only a minute, Cove's cookie was gone. You wouldn't be surprised if the milkshake wasn't far behind. He flicked a straw wrapper at Cove. You found the paper discard from the straw Cove used for his milkshake. You squinted it into the little ball while he was distracted and then deliberately launched it at Cove. Your aim was true, it hit him square air on the nose. He'd even flinch, too used to your violent straw wrapper ways. He casually reached down with his free hand and tossed the paper ball back at you. You sputtered when it hit you on the top of the head and bounced away. You scrambled to grab it from where it fell from your booth and threw it back at him. He chuckled and lobbed the tiny ball in return pass. You felt so glad Cove agreed to come along with you on the initial grocery trip, and equally happy you accepted his invitation here. A little time before off of your feet, a little something to eat, you felt a little more energized than before. You continued to chat, messing around, laughed, and enjoy yourselves. For all the first time that night, you felt you weren't totally grown up after all. Aw, that's nice. That's really nice. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and I hope to see you guys next time.